Hey guys, alright, so first off, I want to thank you for listening to me be vulnerable about my life. The vulnerability experiment really came about because many people in my life were talking about how being vulnerable and open about my life and my experiences is great for healing your soul, and it's great to share your story with the world because you're not only helping yourself, but you're connecting with other people's hearts. Now, throughout my life, I felt embarrassed and wanted to forget about my past as if it never happened because the traumatic events in my life hurt so badly. However, we mustn't forget that the past is what creates who we are, and it is up to us to choose how we want to perceive our past. Now, I'm here to be vulnerable and open and share my past by telling you the truths and the stories about my life to help heal myself and to inspire others around me. Now, every week, as you probably noticed, I plan on doing a new live video to share with you and the others and the world, basically, which is still very scary for me because public speaking and being vulnerable and open are two of the most challenging things for me to do since I grew up where being vulnerable and open as a man is not accepted in society. So I'm excited to see how I will feel once I've uncovered my life story. Now anyway, I'll continue with episode 4. Thanks for watching, guys. So, just to recap a little bit, I'd just gotten out of rehab, and now I'm returning back home to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Right as I opened the door to our house, my dog surprised me by jumping up into the air and pressing her claws into my chest. I was knocked to the ground, and at first I was shocked, but then I burst into laughter because my dog was licking my face like crazy. Such love, right? I had no idea my dog would miss me so much. Then I looked to my side, and I saw my sister holding a sweet welcome home sign that she made on a poster board filled with glitter in a variety of colors. Next to my sister was my dad, who was standing there smiling and walking over to give me a hug. And next to him was this woman I'd never seen before. She was a younger woman in her early 20s with blonde hair and blue eyes. Who was this woman and why was she there? When I asked who she was, he said she was a paralegal who worked for him, and she was a huge help for him while he was recovering from the accident. Even though I was only 10, I could smell something fishy about the situation. Anyway, I said okay and left it at that. And I'll talk more about Blondie in future episodes. A few days after getting situated at our home in Tulsa, my dad took me back to my school to say hello to my 4th grade friends. Now I imagined that the moment they saw me, they would rise to their feet and give me a loud, slow clap, standing ovation, while chanting my name, Matt, 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 Matt. I mean, after all, I just survived a plane crash and woke up from a 1-month coma, right? So, well, being 10 years old, I dreamt it would be like the movies. But this is how it really unfolded. So I walked into the computer lab where my class was, and I heard a few shocking gasps of air. A few of my friends walked over to give me a hug and say hello. And then a few more acknowledged me and just said hi and had a nice little smile on their face. Unfortunately, I only saw my friends for 5 minutes that day. And frankly, I didn't know what to say other than, hey guys, I'm okay. I'm still alive. So a few weeks later, my dad decided that it was best for our family to move to Salt Lake City, Utah to start new. And Blondie tagged along too. So a few days after moving there, I started school. During school, kids would come up to me and ask, "Hey, what happened to your neck?" Or "What's wrong with your voice?" Or "What happened to your head?" To give you a little bit of the backstory, when I was in a coma for 1 month, the hospital staff didn't move me around enough so that I got a bed sore on the back of my head, which turned into a bald spot. I would try to hide my scars by pulling up the front of my shirt or moving the hair to the right side to cover up my bald spot. That way people wouldn't notice anything different about me, right? Or at least that's what I thought. So when they asked, the only response I could think of was, I was in a plane crash. And occasionally kids would ask questions such as where or was it a big plane? But usually they didn't say much. Just responded with an "oh" or "I'm sorry," or were just silent. I hated the fact that I was in a plane crash. All I wanted was to be normal and to not stand out and for people to like me. During school, I noticed my disability. It was really difficult for me to use my right hand, and at first I thought my hand would gradually improve with all the physical therapy I'd done, but it didn't improve. My fine motor skills were limited, so it was hard for me to use forks, knives, spoons. It was difficult for me to grab drinking glasses. Worst of all, it was difficult for me to use a pen or a pencil because my hand would always want to flex at the wrist. When I tried to write with my right hand, I would write very slowly and it was barely legible. It was frustrating. As months went on, I began to notice how I was different, but I wouldn't accept it. I hid the fact that I had a disability, and I told myself I would get better, or I will get better. So in my free time, I would do hand exercises, and I would write the alphabet on a piece of paper several times throughout the day to practice my writing skills. I even tried all kinds of different writing grips, everything, to find one that would possibly work, but nothing worked. And of course, I tried writing with my left hand. It was challenging, and my hand would get really tired after a few minutes of writing, and then my hand would start shaking. It was crazy. So I would switch from writing with my right hand to my left hand to my right hand and back to my left hand. I tried to make it as discreet as possible so people wouldn't ask me about it. Now, a few months later, we picked up and moved again from Salt Lake City to Park City, Utah, which was a small ski resort town. I was still really shy and just wanted to hide in my shell. I didn't want to talk to anyone because I didn't want anyone asking questions. I wanted to get in and get out of school as soon as possible. Now, after being in Park City for a year and a half, my dad decided that he wanted to close his 6 law firms and only keep the one in Fresno, California open to spend more time with me and my sister. Oh yeah, and Blondie too.